Hi, besties. You've found your community bestie to share thoughts and opinions, recap the shows we love,
Having too much fun.
Bravo should be fun.
and have piping hot gossip sessions about the celebrities and Bravo lebs we love, hate, and love to hate.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your pop culture and Bravo bestie.
Allegations, allegedly allegations.
And if you enjoy fun conversation between friends, listening to your bestie rant about shows we can't get enough of, plus enjoy a little bit of, well, ridiculousness.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my God. Has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God. Can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come. What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
You're in the right place. So thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining me today, Wednesday, May 28th. How was your Memorial Day weekend? I hope it was sunnier than mine was. My goodness. We here in the Denver area have had nonstop, I won't say nonstop, but so many storms. You would think Shannon Storms Bedore herself was just wielding the weather. But yeah, I hope you had a relaxing time or else got done what you needed to get done. Shopped some fun sales. That type of thing. So, y'all, I am just giving a little update here. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I am still recapping. Those episodes are actual gigantic monsters. It is David and Goliath. I don't know why I made a biblical reference, but it's fine. Also, guess what I remembered that I forgot to do? It's been, I say this every week, it's been pure insanity around here. I forgot to upload to YouTube the last few episodes. I did. I think the last 3 episodes I forgot to. So I will be uploading those as soon as I have at least half of a second to breathe. This is going to be on YouTube, whether I have the thumbnail art or not. How about that? So if you see me making a weird face and you're like, this is the Valley recap, what is this? It's me. I'm there. So if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure and hit the like button, join the conversation, do all the things. Let's get on into it though. Let me finish that thought. That I will be finishing recapping Secret Lives. It's also almost better that I waited a little bit. That's what I was doing. I was having some psychic, foreshadowing, whatever you want to call it, that my intuition said there would be a lot of stuff coming out on social media, and there has been. And I am just barely keeping up. But I will never, ever forget about my besties here. So now let's get on into it, shall we? We pick up this episode 7, Ring Around the Rumor, where Jasmine and her girlfriend, again, now fiance, congratulations for the millionth time, Melissa, are picking Zach up at LAX, and they're discussing in the car how Jasmine is feeling about the incident with Danny that occurred on Halloween and how it's still upsetting her. I can understand that she is still very triggered by it and very upset, but we've now spent, it's not been 7 full episodes talking about it, but I'm going to say we have absolutely spent at least 4 to 5. Okay. Let's resolve it or not. Thank God we hopefully supposedly will be this episode. Well, when they get Zach at the airport, he at least tells them he sees them picking him up at LAX as true friendship. And y'all, from the Valley to LAX, that is between 2 to 3 hours round trip That I'm going to be so for real. Unless it was a family member visiting me, I think I have only taken one friend to LAX, and that was my friend Tessa Scott. Love you so much. It was for like a red eye flight at, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, but it's because she would do the same thing for me, at least when we were in our 20s and didn't have as many responsibilities. But yes, if someone asks you to pick them up at the Burbank airport, that's not going to be a test of friendship. Always, if you can, fly in to the Burbank airport. I can't emphasize this enough. We do find out Zach and Benji had been on a road trip from Texas to Kentucky with Benji, who is describing, oh, I'm sorry, who Zach is describing in his confessional as his on again, off again boyfriend. But we do find out they do have an official title of boyfriends for each other. So that's cute. I'm so glad we're doing a hard launch. Nia and Michelle meet up with their kids for a play date, with Nia asking Michelle about what happened after she left that girls' dinner. You know, when Nia had made a very clear and valid point that her biggest issue with the girls in all of the drama surrounding her and Danny was that they didn't talk to her about it and instead talked about her behind her back. And then they immediately talked about her and Danny behind her back just as soon as she left. Oh my gosh, am I about to sneeze? You guys, when I tell you my allergies are still trying to ruin my life, it's like the burning. I'm so sorry. You don't need to know all of this, but if I'm starting to sound weird for a minute, yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good. Anywho, Nia, yeah. Remember, again, they immediately talked about her after, and she asked them not to talk behind her back. But okay. So Nia brings up that she does know that Danny apologized, but because she wasn't there for the conversation, she has no idea as to what the exact words were on his part or on Jasmine and Melissa's part, because she really only got Danny's side of the conversation. And when Nia asks Michelle about things with Jesse, Michelle says she's not sure how much more she can take with Jesse. And she also tells her that Isabella told her, I know you were married, mommy, and I know that it didn't work out, but that's okay. If you want to get married to Aaron, Jesse has to go. To the wedding? I mean, I know from what Jesse has said, they are in a better place, which is good. But well, I hope for any divorced couple that they could be in that place where they would be in that healthy co-parenting relationship, because if you're divorced and you don't have a kid, like what is even the point of continuing communication? But that they have a healthy co-parenting relationship where they could go to each other's wedding. That is what I would hope for anyone. In confessional, Michelle says she does hope to get married to Aaron someday, so that's no mystery. Now, Jason, Luke, and Danny go get burgers and beer. It's such a dude thing. When they sit, Danny says, I've been really exhausted lately. And that's when Luke brings up that Danny being exhausted was a huge point of contention in Santa Barbara. Danny thought that the drama with the girls was not really about him. And technically, you're right, kind of. It was about what you did on Halloween and about them not liking that you and Nia have a healthy relationship, that you do what you can and put whatever strenuous effort is necessary into working through your obstacles. Because how dare a couple be happy and have issues that they do put in that effort to work through? How dare? Jason has clearly been coached hardcore by Janet before coming to this lunch, and he's going to regret hardcore listening to Janet's directions. So hardcore. He now has to put on the table what Janet is still harping on, clearly, which is the drinking tequila in the pantry with the door closed. Danny doing that, of course. Jason says that if he had taken a chug of tequila with Nia in the pantry, that Nia would likely feel as though there's a weird secret that she's just not wanting to be a part of, and tells Danny that it made Janet pretty uncomfortable. In confessional, Danny tells us that he went to go get a White Claw out of the pantry, which is where the tequila was as well, and that other people have been taking swigs of tequila all day. He didn't think it was that big of a deal. Danny tells Jason that he was not drunk, but Jason tells him point blank that no, you were drunk enough that you couldn't make dinner. And Danny says he had a shot and a White Claw, but that he would have been taking a nap regardless. Can I just add, please, that I am insanely jealous of nap people. I cannot take naps to save my life. And if I do, it's usually because I'm on my deathbed. That is the number one sign between anyone who is around me the most. Like Jay knows if I am napping, uh-oh. And I won't even say the SICK word. I say the S word. I'm afraid I'm getting the S word is what I will say, but I'm not. I'm very healthy. I refuse to say those type of words just out loud. But that being said, I think the only time I have ever napped where one, there was not an illness involved, two, there was no alcohol involved, three, I was just raw dogging life the way I have been. It was when my son was a newborn and I barely could even do it then. Torture. Jason says to Danny, "You chugged a bottle with a closed pantry door." But Danny clarifies he took a swig and that's it. I mean, oh my God, semantics, y'all. In confessional, Danny is saying he doesn't understand what's going on here and points out that Jason had said in Santa Barbara that it wasn't a big deal. We get a flashback of Jason telling Danny that if it were Janet taking a nap, he would have said the same thing, that Janet was tired and taking a nap. This is so dumb. You know it is, guys. Come on. And then Danny rightfully questions whether this is Jason's own cognitions or Janet's. You don't even have to form it as a question, darling. It's Janet's. Jason tells Danny he thought he would be taking more accountability and admitting he messed up, but that because he doesn't feel Danny is owning up to what Janet has perceived as him having too much to drink that day, he thinks that there may actually be something bigger going on with him and the alcohol, which Danny is pretty taken aback by. And Luke, thank God for you. Because he stands up for Danny in the best way he can in this moment. Remember, he's getting his reality TV sea legs. He says he heard Danny ask Nia to wake him up in 1 hour when he was napping, and also heard Nia saying she wanted to let him sleep. And because Nia made this call to let Danny get some sleep, it's all coming back on her. Danny points out that he was upset he missed dinner. And now, oh gosh, Jason, when people kind of stutter a little because they're trying to remember what they were supposed to say, remember their lines, and also that they know they're wrong. So it's almost like that Holy Spirit inside of them grips them and says, "This is wrong," and shakes their insides a little bit so it stutters out. That's what my Southern self imagines is happening. But you know what? Janet forgot to give Jason his cue cards. So he's struggling. He just goes, and then, gosh, what did Janet tell me? What did Janet tell me? What was I supposed to say? What did Janet tell me not to forget? Oh yeah, Jasmine felt triggered by the fact the last time she saw you in that state being very drunk, things happened. It's a little PTSD from Halloween. Do you know what I'm talking to you about? You apologized to her for it, right? Janet said, remember to say, yeah, even though you apologized, she's got PTSD. Jason, honey, what are you doing? You really should have written your script on your palm or something, but I think you are so uncomfortable with this type of confrontation and you've never really done it that it would have just sweat off of your palm. So you should have done something. But Jason points out that Jasmine has clearly been feeling a certain type of way about it all still, which, yes, that is accurate. Then in confessional, Jason blames the need to protect his dear friend Jasmine on being a lawyer. Huh? All right. But Danny didn't realize that Jasmine is still very upset by his behavior on Halloween and concludes he will be having another conversation with her. He does admit in his confessional that he felt shame and disappointment in himself for quite a while over this behavior as well. Now, Jason tells Danny that he doesn't feel as though Danny has truly taken accountability for what happened with Jasmine and Melissa. Jason, I don't know if Janet literally is like the claw. I'm sure there's some superhero. I'm not just imagining this, right? Can a straight man tell me? Or like a 10-year-old boy? I don't know. Like they put a claw and scrape on your little brain and they get in there because, yeah. Or are you wearing an earpiece that we can't see? Like, are you doing the double agent type of thing? Because here's the thing, you were not there for the conversation where Danny apologized to Jasmine and Melissa. And while it's clear that Jasmine is not feeling whole with Danny after this, it's beyond being your business at this point, especially once you've let Danny know how Jasmine is feeling. Jason is saying that it's very apparent that he didn't take
full accountability, which Danny is pretty flabbergasted at. And it's just like, what are you even talking about? Now, Jason is still stuttering through those lines. And where is a scripty when you need one, huh? One of those entertainment industry terms. A scriptie is a person on a set who has the entire script in a binder and sits off camera whenever an actor says line because they forgot their line. There you go. Or helps the director say, oh, we got to go back and refilm that. They missed a chunk of lines and the other actor improvised and went with it, but we do need to at least get a pickup of those other lines. Okay, they're important. Danny tells Jason he's not making sense, and Jason tries to keep interrupting him, so Danny bucks up, y'all. He tells him to stop interrupting him and to shut his mouth.
Oh.
Well, damn, Danielle. Danny points out that he has gone to Jasmine and apologized on numerous occasions and that he will do it again. In confessional, he says he feels like there's a target on him and questions his relationship with Jason. So he then tells Jason that him implying he has a drinking problem, it's not cool. And Jason, oh my God. He goes, I disagree. And Danny is like, says the lawyer. And Jason's like, yeah. And Danny wraps him up with, not the friend. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say you ate him up, Danny, but that just made me sad. Jason, you were clearly being a full-blown mouthpiece for your wife. And she's capable of talking on her own more than we would like sometimes. So what is going on? Sir, no. And now we get the Blair Witch Project footage of Jax in rehab. I mean, my God, you'd think Britney unjustifiably sent him to a military boot camp for wayward children and ripped him from his loving, happy, and stable home to go live the best years of his life out running in mud and feces. He says it's a special day for him to see his son, and it's been 17 days since he's been a part of this program because remember, it was outpatient. He's super emotional and claims he wants to apologize to Britney, which I mean, he's clearly hit that point in recovery that he's seeing a very particular set of behavior for the nastiness that it was, while also negating the rest of his absolute garbage, gutter rat, trash raccoon, panda. Trash panda, not trash raccoon. They're all trash pandas. Anyway, behavior. But he's clearly going to just be angry eventually that Britney isn't going to immediately let him back in. Thank God Sherry and her frosted lips are there to be with Britney. Kristen and Luke show up to Britney's house, and Britney starts by reminding them how she had planned on letting Jax see Cruz this day and that they'd meet at the park afterward. In confessional, Britney says, today I thought I'd be nice and let Jax see Cruz. My nanny actually dropped Cruz off first, so he'd have like 30 minutes without me being there. And then Jax wanted me to come so that we could talk with the therapist. And I just did not, and it just did not go, and it just did not go well at all. God, my brain's mud and feces right now, my friends. Her mom says she could tell by the look on Britney's face when she walked in that it did not go well. So Britney brings up the cameras in her and Jax's house and how when she was there picking some things up, she noticed that the cameras were not covered with those deck of playing cards taped on there anymore. Remember, they were covered by Jax to hide from Britney whenever he was bringing home girls because of their rule about that. You diabolical twat, Jax Taylor. Kristen points out that Jax was spying on Britney from her own surveillance cameras. And then Britney draws attention to the fact that Jax had been texting her things about how he knew what she's wearing on any given day in an attempt to make her believe he has people watching her from rehab. This is so abusive. It's actually crazy. Like, there is no planet that this is acceptable unless he were genuinely, wholeheartedly concerned and had proof of a reason to be truly, wholeheartedly, genuinely concerned for the well-being of their child. That's it. There's no other excuse. I cannot justify it unless it's a girl needing to catch her cheating partner, which That's a different story. In confessional, Brittany wonders how Jax has the time for 7 hours of therapy a day to be texting her this much and harassing her to this extent. And if he's finding that time in the 7 hours of therapy, then he mustn't be taking it all that very seriously. And then, no shocker here. Brittany tells them that Jax has been texting her that he wants to have a completely fresh start with her. Jax 2.0. He wants to start dating again with her. And I thought, yes, maybe. Now that I'm reading my own notes, that's what she meant, I thought. But that also, maybe it wasn't that he wants to start dating her, but someone else again. I don't know. Oh, yes, no, it was to date her. Gosh, you guys. Okay. Sometimes I don't know. But anyway, he said to her that he wanted to start dating her again and get things going in the direction of where their relationship used to be. I am feeling vomitous because nauseous is not a strong enough word. Is vomitous a word? No, I highly doubt it. But he told her that he didn't think it was the best idea for him to go back to the house that they lived in. And Brittany mentions the 3-month lease to him that she's already signed and paid for. So he tells her that he signed a lease for a condo next door to Tom Schwartz, the very apartment complex that Jay and I had actually signed a lease at. And when we saw the unit, because, a lot of times they just show you like a model unit or a different one that's vacant. And when we saw it, we both went absolutely effing not and withdrew our lease and deposit. It was so bad. So it was nice enough that we signed a lease from what we saw to begin with. So, anywho. And also the eagle-eyed Bravoholics on social media noticed from the photos on Jax's social media that it was in fact the same complex Schwartz season. In confessional, Brittany says, I feel like he's going back to his party days and wants to relive those pre-Britney days. And I think it's sad. You're a father and you're 45 years old. Girl, you are right. I wish you had seen this all sooner, but you know what? We got cute, sweet, precious little cruisy out of it. So we're going to let it go. Brittany concludes to everyone that she's finally seeing Jax for who he really is, which is a terrible human being, and that she wishes he had no way to contact her while in rehab. Then she adds, I do not want him to get out. I wish he was in like actual jail and didn't have a phone. And if he did, somebody'd have to shove it up their butthole for him to get it. Jax having to use an ass phone is really just exactly what he deserves. And I love how the editors pan over to the dog that has an actual pearl necklace on, just whimpering. And that poodle Bichon Frise was just clutching her pearls, honey. You'd call that a bitchy poo. Jasmine and Melissa meet up with Danny at this lawless brewing company. The irony that Danny is clearly about to have a conversation with them about his behavior while consuming, I shall say, over-consuming alcohol, and is also buying their drinks where they order hard cider and red wine is not lost on me. I do have to say, I always find it bizarre when people take an opportunity to call out someone on their drinking while they are drinking alcohol themselves. I'm not saying that just because someone else is having some sort of an issue in whatever capacity it may be with a substance, well, the illegal substance like alcohol, that means the person speaking with them is not allowed to drink. But at the same time, how are you going to drive your point home if you are consuming alcohol while admonishing someone for their own consumption of it? It bothers me when I see this. Can't you just not have a drink for a minute too? I'm not calling anyone an alcoholic, but do you see how easy it is to go that direction? Exactly. He gets ice water, which I love Jasmine, but it bothered me how she was like, oh, like to see it, like to see the ice water. We get it. We get it. But it's obviously a little bit awkward. And Danny starts it off saying that the night of the Halloween party was the worst night of his life and tells them, but it's not about him right now. Let's also remember that. Okay, because this is about how Jasmine feels. So he tells them that while he did apologize as soon as he was told what he had done, he lets them know Jason brought it to his attention that Jasmine is still harboring some hurt over it. Jasmine says she thinks the whole thing triggered her because on the daily, she is battling having to defend her relationship with Melissa. That men at the bars will be saying things like, kiss her, prove it's real. First of all, what? Ooh, that is disgusting. Okay. And the reason I say it's disgusting is why don't you go up to a straight couple and tell them to fucking prove it, you douche canoes? I hate that for them. And I know if I were there with them, I probably would have gotten myself kicked out of a bar for shrieking. So, but she points out, look, just because I don't have a ring on my finger, it doesn't mean that my relationship isn't real. And in confessional, Jasmine says she loves Danny and thinks he's a great friend, but that this is something that is I can't say the word, particularly triggering for her, and that she's cut off friends in the past for doing the same type of thing. She also adds that her biggest objective here is to get Danny to have a deeper understanding of what she and Melissa struggle with as a lesbian couple. And bear this in mind, they are in one of the most liberal, accepting areas in our country. So I cannot imagine how much worse it would be for them being somewhere else. You know, I would say Los Angeles, most specifically WeHo, Denver, and a lot of New York, and maybe very particular parts of Florida. And I'm not shunning any other cities that are listening, but you have to recognize it for what it is. These are very liberal areas. Not all of Florida, very specific parts. Okay. Anywho, can you imagine what it'd be like for them going, I don't know, let's make it just the worst case, like Arkansas, West Virginia. I don't know. Is West Virginia? I think. I don't know. Anyway, I just really, it breaks my heart for them that they would be hounded in that way. I mean, I just feel like our society still has so far to go and it's exhausting. Anywho, you know, because also things like, I remember I had my little guy with me in Target. Okay. I mean, Target has some of the best like cheap toddler clothes. Let's be so for real. And he saw it was supposed to be for little girls, this outfit that it was like a purple top and pink shorts and it had a little ruffle to it and maybe like a starfish and some seashells on the front of it. He wanted that outfit. He did. And it's not like, and even if it was, who cares? But it's not like it was a dress. He's 3. I don't give a shit. If it makes him happy to wear it and he's covered appropriately in public, you know, like all the naughty bits are covered, who cares? And I remember thinking, wow, Caitlin, this is your moment to practice what you preach. And guess what? It wasn't that hard. He got so excited. He wanted to put it on the second he got home. Has he been dying to wear it again? No. But it's and I even here I could kind of feel there were people walking by and I saw a couple hear me say, yeah, baby, if you like those colors, if you want it, I'll get it. It was like $12. Who cares? But the point being is, even in the most liberal areas, people are like, you're gonna buy him a girly outfit? Yeah, he's 3. Who cares? Anyway, it bothered me even to notice that people were like giving looks. And I swear to God, if he wants to wear whatever color he wants to effing wear, because colors don't actually have gender, if he gets any shit, I'm telling you, I know, friends, that you know I'm a Scorpio. I will do more than sting someone. I'm going to end up filling up all of those 6x6 holes in remote areas. I'm going to have to work on digging some more. Is there a guy I could hire for that? Anywho, the biggest objective here, again, for Jasmine is to get Danny to really understand the struggle they experience on a daily basis. And Melissa points out the difference in how this whole situation would have transpired and unfolded if it had not been 2 women in that moment, but rather a heterosexual couple. And Danny does apologize again, which in confessional, Jasmine says that yes, Danny has apologized to her already, but that it's not what she needs in order to be friends with him, rather that she needs some understanding and what sounds like is just some empathy. Again, she calls attention to the different response in this confessional that would have occurred if it had been, say, Janet and Jason he did this with and not her and Melissa. We get it. Okay. Okay. I agree. Jasmine tells Danny she realized that he may not have been aware of how it affects her and Melissa navigating the world as they are. And he acknowledges that he wasn't aware and gets emotional over this. In confessional, he admits how horrible he felt about this and would never want to objectify them in this way. And yes, that is the word. It's objectifying, it was invasive, and it was presumptuous as well. But I love that they're resolved with this. And he does joke with them about babysitting for him and Nia tomorrow now that they're good. I think Daniel handled that very well. I think he handled it as best he could. He listened, which was very much the most important part of it, I think. And I think that's what Jasmine needed, just to be heard. We're now going to Kristen, Luke, and Jesse, who are going to brunch, which sounds like it's more of a lunch. And have we noted just how literally every other scene opens up with them talking, someone saying how hot it is? That's the valley, honey. Why do you think we left and came to Denver during the pandemic, since we just had to watch this gorgeous sparkling pool that we paid for in our apartment complex that we weren't allowed to go in? It was like 115 degrees. If we weren't outside, we had to walk on the pavement, which was even hotter. So, anywho, I love that Kristen and Luke order some yummy sweet and savory at this and waffles place. I've been there before. It's good. While Jesse gets grilled chicken breasts. Mwah, mwah. They catch Jesse up on the dinner Luke had with Jason and Danny. And Kristen just goes, Jason sucks. He's on my shit list now. Kristen and Luke agree that it is absurd that Jason cares what's going on in this regard with Nia and Danny's relationship. And need I remind you, he doesn't. He doesn't. Janet does. And that's why he's pretending to care. I just spit on myself a little bit because I'm still just so annoyed. Kristen and her cute little bomb that's about to go off. Jason, she says, Jason is in no position to judge anyone and what's happening in their relationship. Keep your wedding ring on all the time, and then you can start talking. The look Luke gives Kristen kind of says it all. It does. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? Kristen, not again. Don't do this again. Don't do it again. She says that all anyone in the friend group has been talking about for the last year is that Jason takes his wedding ring off when he goes out. And we do find out in her confessional that this was a major game of telephone through which she heard it from Zach and confirmed this rumor with Jasmine, which is quite reminiscent of last year when we do get that flashback of Kristen being messy boots saying she heard from Zach about Michelle allegedly being a racist Republican. So Jesse asks if there's at least been rumors of Jason cheating on Janet if we're going there with this. And Luke is giving Kristen looks like, you little shit. I love you so much, but why the F do you have to be such a messy little boots here? Why'd you say that? In confessional, Jesse says this rumor is stupid because he's found himself not wearing his ring many times when he was married for various reasons. And same, when I was married, my ring was, the most gorgeous marquee cut. And I had gone to great lengths to really pick out exactly what I wanted. The only issue was it was pointy and stabby. It was a stabby, pointy ring. And I have ruined a cabinet before. Not even intentionally. I didn't punch it. I just lifted my hand and I ended up tearing like a layer of the cabinet off. I would stab myself. I would be so scared I'd get it hooked on things. So yes, it is, but I would then wear my wedding band by itself instead. And men don't really have that issue. So, okay. I mean, it's so hard because even though I'm pissed off at Jason right now, I think he is genuinely like a deeply good person, even though I'm like, why did you marry Janet in the way she behaves and her messy ass? So I don't know. Okay. I hate being so confused all the time. Jesse kind of admonishes Kristen a little bit, saying these rumors are getting ridiculous, which yes, they are. Because it's Jason, but still. She tells him the only reason she brought it up is because of how judgmental she feels Jason and Janet are being of Danny and Nia. In confessional, Luke says that Kristen should have never brought this up because it's going to cause unnecessary drama as they clearly have enough of that going around. Jesse tells her that as long as she's not talking about him and Michelle, he's good. Well, I don't think she needs to. You talk about you and Michelle more than anyone else. So, but Kristen, I love you so much for this because she says that if you F with her friends or family, it's on. And that Mama Bear's coming out. Listen, say what you will about Kristen Louise Doty. That is her middle name. I actually looked it up because I just wanted to know. But if she's on your team, she is on your team until the wheels fall off. It's now Britney's shark party. And it cracks me up how every single time Jax, ugh, I don't want to talk about that demon. It does crack me up, though, how every single time Zach has a party to go to and there's any type of theme, he gets painted up for it and he has to have abs painted on. I need someone to paint abs on me. Of course, it's kind of more so just one. It's one ab. I'm joking. They're kind of there. Sort of, if I have a spray tan and haven't ingested anything into my body in like 12 hours. So basically, if I'm dehydrated and malnourished, then yes, I have abs. Okay, bye. Everyone else is showing up, and we will be getting a Shishu and Lala on camera moment. In confessional, Jason admits he was probably too hard on Danny. Oh, so you finally saw that listening to Janet and acting out her scripts will not work in your favor if you want to keep friends and not have everyone despise you? Got it. Lala, Sheena, and Michelle are chatting, and Michelle tells Lala about Jesse calling her a hooker and a whore. Listen, love her, hate her, give me Lala when it's time to go after a man. Because Lala is eating him up before he even arrives and says about Jesse, why does he look the way his personality is? He walks in like such a dick. Oh, Lala, I can't stay mad at you because it's also something I would absolutely say. Jasmine and Melissa ask Jesse how he's doing after Santa Barbara once he sits with them after he's finally arrived during that other conversation between the girls. But he does admit to them he's not feeling great about all of that went down in Wine Town. And when Jasmine asks him if he thinks he's still maybe into Michelle, he denies that pretty hard. But Jasmine says in her confessional, she doesn't buy it. Jason pulls Danny aside for a conversation. And you know what, Jason, you're back on my good side, because he tells him that he's been feeling really shitty and not even sleeping or eating much since their conversation. In confessional, after we've seen that Nia notices this conversation happening, Nia underscores how out of character it was for Jason to come at Danny in the way that he did. And that the first thought she had was that Janet sent Jason after them, which has her questioning her friendship with Janet at this point. Right on, sister. Right on. But Jason tells Danny he's sorry he was an asshole and that he values their friendship a lot. And he is getting emotional, telling him it's not the way he normally reacts with people he respects and admires. Danny's being very receptive, and I'm very glad Jason came to his senses. I mean, men really are quite simple, aren't they? Because Danny tells him that he loves him. They're still boys. They're good. Jason, never let Janet in your ear again, my God. We got to zoom in, though, after all of this, on Danny, of course, because he asks Kristen to grab him a White Claw. We're now going to highlight every single time there's alcohol near Danny. Jesse then makes the grave mistake of going over to say hello to Lala, who we find out is due in 3 weeks. Listen, I know I'm not supposed to compare myself to other women in pregnancy or afterward or anything like that, but my God, my nose, I looked like Shrek. Okay, I looked like Shrek. Jesse tells Lala he's so jealous because he always wanted more kids. But Lala tells him, well, if it's any indication of how you treat your baby mama, he just says that it's hard on both sides. Yes, we do know that, but you called her a hooker and a whore. So, no. Anywho, he says she only knows one side of the story. But Lala lets him know, I tend to lean towards the chick, especially when the man and the father of the child is calling her a whore and a slut. He just goes, yeah, well, that was a huge moment of weakness on my part. And you know what? If you pay close enough attention, you can see Shishu behind him. Notice something is going to go down and there will be camera time for her there. So she shuffles her cute little booty on over. Lala asks Jesse if he said all that in the group chat with his guy friends. And he's like, yeah, that story is true. And then Lala hits the nail on its flat ass head, saying, let me ask you something. If your daughter Isabella came home and told you that her ex was treating her the same way you have treated your ex, what would your reaction be? He stutters through trying to say he would have a bad reaction. Okay. Or I'm sorry, he stutters through trying to tell, as I stutter through it. He stutters through trying to say, he told her that his reaction was bad. But Lala, well, she encourages that she gets the feeling he would show up with a shotgun if Miss Isabella told him a man was pulling with her what he is pulling with Michelle, which she does agree. In confessional, this knockoff Ryan Seacrest dork waxes poetic about how even men and women with the strongest conviction will have a moment of weakness. Oh, F off. It's beyond a moment of weakness to call the mother of your child a hooker and a whore. You twat. It was a moment of weakness, Jesse. Sorry. Lala tells him he should realize that he needs to be more careful because they have a little girl who's impressionable. Back over in confessional. Our knockoff Ryan Seacrest with a questionable hairdo and who is clearly using some Latisse because if God blessed a man with eyelashes like that naturally, I need to have a talk with him. And I mean God. About many things, but that is very high on the list. He decides to mansplain to us that calling Michelle those derogatory names was a moment of weakness. Again, that's not a moment of weakness, you dickhead. It's a moment of being a dickhead. Dickhead. But then he says, but the truth is, she's a liar and a cheater. But she doesn't deserve to be called a whore. Wow, Jesse. Wow, Jesse. Wow, you really mea culpa the F out of that one, huh? You don't support women. Lala tells Jesse, I have zero interest in this conversation. You're mean to my friend. I think you're toxic. I think you're a narcissist. And I'm happy I don't have to deal with you. She was on our screen for like 2 seconds. And it was, yeah. She walks off and this douche canoe just goes, perfect. Thank you for giving me a good laugh. Says the man who laughed 0% in that conversation because she read him for filth. Just laughing so hysterically it looks more like tears. In fact, they are. Ew, Kristen, Zach's shark attack makeup does not look like a used tampon. What is wrong with you, Kristen? I love you so much, but ew. We get a cut of Britney looking at Lala and going, oh my gosh, you're like literally the cutest pregnant person I ever saw. Like, Kentucky muffin. I think she had food in her mouth, but they hug and they're like, oh my God, I love you so much. Jesse pulls Jason aside because if Jax isn't here, he needs to be messy Jesse. So all he says to Jason is that there's a conversation that will be brought up because of what Kristen said about Jason and that he doesn't want Jason to be blindsided when it's brought up, which immediately Jason's like, why am I friends with these people? In confessional, Jason's like completely racking his brain about what he's done. Is he the racist Republican now? I have no secrets. What is it? I'm not hiding anything. What's going on? So he goes over to Zach and asks him if he knows if Kristen is mad at him or if he's done something to piss her off. And Jesse, you didn't even tell him what it was. You didn't. I know something you don't know. Oh, God. Go bat those baby visors you call eyelashes somewhere else. Go put your headband back on. Zach just looks at Jason and goes, right now? You mean like at this present moment? I don't know. And runs away. So Jason goes to Janet and tells her that Jesse told him Kristen has something she's going to talk to him about. And this is as Luke sits down with them. So Jason just is like, rip the Band-Aid off, buddy. Tell me what's up. Luke says that they heard a rumor about a year ago or so that Jasmine said sometimes Jason takes his wedding ring off at bars. Jason was super nervous until he heard this. And he's just like, okay, whatever, dude. I thought this was going to be some other thing. What other thing did you think it was, Jason? Are you sure you don't have something to hide? Huh? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do ya? So now Janet calls Jasmine over as Jason says he's only ever had his ring off if he just forgot it at home. And I know a lot of people are like, how could you forget? Listen, it happens, okay? Like, I'm not just trying to be defending Jason here, but it happens. Jasmine sits down telling them that she heard this rumor 2 years ago. Okay. In confessional, Jason notes that he had just had to make an apology, a very emotional apology, for getting into an argument with Danny on Jasmine's behalf. And that to then find out Jasmine's been kind of talking negatively about him. He's going to say is surprising, but pisses him the F off. Jasmine tells him she didn't know if it's true and that she knew him when, and he points out that she knew him when he was single. And even then, he wouldn't hit on anyone. So the question now is, why is this being brought up at this point? Kristen tells them that she said it out loud because she was super frustrated, feeling as though Jason was going after Danny super hard. And Jenna asks her if she's sorry that she said this out loud. She's like, you know us, you know our relationship, you know how we are, yada, yada, yada. And Kristen underscores that she hasn't been friends with Janet and Jason for a while, which now Jason emphasizes the obvious, that it was about how he and Janet, which she now emphasizes the obvious, that it was about how he and Janet were going after Nia and Danny. So she needed to hit back with anything she's heard about them. In confessional, oh no, Jason pointed, okay. Wow, you guys, that was in confessional. Or no, that was in front of Kristen. Guys, is it Wednesday? Where am I? Okay. In confessional, Kristen says she doesn't give a shit that Janet and Jason are mad at her. God, to be that carefree. Ugh, I wonder if someone sighs or breathes the wrong way in my direction. I'm like, what's wrong? Are you mad at me? Anxious attachment type, it happens. But she says she doesn't care that they're mad, if they're mad at her or not, because for her, it's pretty simple. If Janet and Jason are going for Danny and Nia, she'll be going for Janet. I do understand, though, Janet being upset about this. Okay, I get it. But, she really wants Kristen to say she's sorry and that it was just a rumor. But then she adds in her own confessional that this is Kristen's MO, to go after someone when either she or someone she wants to defend is under fire. And it's almost like she uses a smoke bomb to distract from the issue at hand. But when Janet asks Kristen why she'd tell other people and not say something to her, Kristen reminds her they haven't been friends. Otherwise, she would have gone to her. Yeah. But if it was 2 years ago, okay. In confessional, Janet says that Kristen may think she's Detective Doty, but I'm always 10 steps ahead of Kristen. And that there will never be a situation where Kristen is giving her information that she is not already aware of about her husband, because she knows where he is at all times, and adds, and if he goes on vacation, I'm put an air tag on him for safety. Oh God. Okay. Same, Janet. Honestly, God damn it, you got me there. You got me there, Janet. We are alike in some ways. But Kristen goes on that she found it extremely frustrating because they were going after Danny and Nia like that. Now, Britney has an announcement. Dang, dang, dang. I have an announcement, everybody. Britney gathers them and says that she met with Jax today. Or yesterday, whatever. Is this really supposed to all be the same day? I don't know. At a park to let crews see him, and tells them about Jax wanting to have this fresh start and get back to their relationship. And then she announces to all of them, but then he tells me that he rented a condo next door to Tom Schwartz. They all agree that it's further proof Jax has no intention of changing. And Brittany tells them she's worried he's going to try to go off and leave her with a $14,000 a month mortgage. $14,000 a month. Someday I'll be there, I hope, but I'll be able to pay it. Brittany declares that she will be meeting with a lawyer next week. Sheena got in her one line of the entire, two lines. One was about makeup, and the other line here that she needs to lawyer up. In confessional, Brittany admits that she was extremely hopeful Jax would be making changes in this facility and come back trying to work on their marriage. But that she feels rehab did nothing for him, and that it burns me up that he didn't think of her or their son whatsoever, and that they're done. I know we know now that she's done. But even if this were happening in exact real time, I'd believe her because he's just done her so dirty so much. And I'm sorry, but once you have slept with other people, even if you were separated, I don't know how you go back. But again, that's also because I'm too crazy for that type of shit. Like, I'm not kidding. I fully admit that I am nuts. It's like, did you hug a bitch? I don't care that she was 73 years old. Show me exactly where your hands were placed. But they all do a little huddle with the hands, like, yay, the divorce is incoming. Brittany and Jasmine go to Jax's, the bar in Studio City, because they know that Jax won't be there at least. Eek, it's completely empty, and Brittany takes the opportunity to spit her gum into a napkin and place it over Jax's face on one of the many pictures of him that's hanging on the wall. Schwartzy shows up and asks them if they're mentioned on Grandma's beer cheese. Sir, put some respect on her name. It is Mama, which Brittany corrects him on. He asks Jasmine and Brittany if this is a group therapy session that they need tequila for, and Brittany tells him, look, I have been stressed as hell, which he tells her that he texted with Mr. Work in Progress today, aka Jax. I can think of a few other names for him. The real hoe of the valley. Sir Gaslights a lot. Mr. Douche Magoo. Captain Narcissism. The Incredible Pasta Hulk. Douche, God of Lies. Can you tell? I've had a lot of talk of the Avengers and superheroes in my orbit against my will, because that's the immediate thing I went to. And Schwartz asks Brittany if she feels like Jax is actually putting in the work, because he seems to be peaceful and serene at the moment through text. Brittany and Jasmine crack up at those descriptives, which prompts Brittany to ask what exactly he's been told by Jax, which is apparently that his mental health has improved exponentially, and the medication has really opened his eyes and helped him get to a place where he feels at peace. Brittany tells them, though, she found out yesterday Jax has not paid their mortgage since May, and it is August 15th. And that he had never let her know anything at all about this, or that he needed money or help paying the mortgage, which he conveniently has now signed a lease, all ready to cut that rug and run. So because both of their names are on the mortgage, Jax is fucking with her credit, life, and any chance she has at buying another home. She concludes that if Jax hasn't paid that mortgage in all that time, it could be at $100,000 now, probably after late fees and penalties, which I don't know if she's factoring in the taxes or what. I don't know that it'd be at $100,000, but I'm a millennial, I am not on reality TV, so I am not a homeowner. What would I know? In confessional, she says she could have been taking over those payments by now, and he could have moved out months ago, but he chose the route he did, and he is literally wrecking her entire world. And this is also why she shouldn't have had to move out. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm saying it. I don't give a shit how down bad Jax has been. He is a diabolical minion of the Antichrist, born out of Lucifer's anus and spat out into the seventh circle of brimstone and fire. He is a devious, evil little shit. And as soon as I form an opinion on Jason Couchy, I will let all of you know. The second I do. Brittany says it's clear that as soon as Jax discovered he could try to go relive his glory days and live next to Schwartz, he was thrilled to be able to say, I don't have to pay those bills or take care of responsibilities. But she does let Schwartz know she's not pinning it on him. And she's emotional now and devastated that she's losing what she calls her dream home and family all at the same time. Baby, that home may have been a dream at one time, but it holds a lot of pain and possibly STDs now that Jax has been having a parade of women, but we are not STD shaming anyone. But I hope you do sell it and try again in a little while. Okay, honey? Jasmine says Jasmine's like, I cannot even. And she's ready to take all of his pictures down in this bar and throw them in the garbage. And she gets up to do just that. But she just takes down one of Jax's signs and puts it in the trash. It's like one of those wooden live, laugh, love signs. But Brittany says she and Jax are done. And there will never be Jax and Brittany again. And oh my God, you guys, the flashbacks of them. Oh, it's so sad. But also knowing it's Jax that whole time, I don't know how she lasted this long. My heart does hurt for her. And look, for the millionth time, the upteenth time, we know she didn't go in blind, but it's still sad. Okay. She had hope for what could have been. We now get our mid-season trailer. Ugh, Jax is going to be back. We've been doing fine without you, you little spawn of Satan. But the way Jax thought it was okay to compare Danny to Ted Bundy in this preview and just coming back in trying to manipulate Britney, we do get to see that Nia is going to, in her own Nia gentle way, stand up to Janet. And thank God. Janet, you had me for a minute there. That's disappointing. Really is. Besties, I have a favor to ask. You are the best. And I love you all so much. And I love seeing the reviews. Could you support this show by leaving a 5-star review and a comment for what you love about the show? It may sound like it doesn't do much, but it does so much. Please do your girl a solid here. I appreciate it more than anything. Give me a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the YouTube. It's all at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. And I am still forewarning you. There is a name change coming to the podcast. Basically, as soon as I can make up my dumb little mind over the cover art, already took the photos, did the whole thing. And it's not going to be that far off. Don't worry. We're still all besties here. Besties is still going to be a part of it. I promise. Still doing it. Now, what else is there? I'm going to be recapping part 1 of the reunion of Summer House tomorrow. And then there will be 2 episodes of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Oh my gosh, lost my brain there for a second. And then also, I forgot to mention this. You guys go check out No Filter with Zach Peter. I did a recap of Secret Lives with him and Christina the Bravo babe. Go check out that episode. And then this Friday, as of now, I will be a guest on Your Bish therapist, Melissa. Love her so much. I highly encourage, especially after watching these episodes of The Valley, to go check out her account. She is, a licensed therapist, and she really is like the kindest, sweetest soul. She's been on this podcast before. I really just can't say enough good things about her. She's very grounded and real and gives such genuine psychological takes. And I truly believe that those of us who like reality TV, because I think we are smarter than the population that refuses to watch it and calls it garbage. And I'm not even saying that ironically. I believe that wholeheartedly because we are studying this from that parasocial dynamic and we are psychoanalyzing the group dynamics. She can actually put it in therapist terms, and I love it. Anyway, enough of that. Check out the Pop Culture Besties Etsy merch shop. Like 99% of it is Bravo. Designs by yours truly. I still got to get the new designs up. I am behind on everything, but I'm in good company here, besties. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful hump day, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye.